His hero's star had melted into the wreckage. That's how they identified him. The rest of his body vaporized. Right now, 4 astronauts are heading toward the moon. You know their names. The media gave them to you. I'm not going to talk about them. I'm going to talk about the men whose names are never spoken, the ones who made Artemis 2 possible, the ones governments erased, the ones who were right and lost everything because of it. This video tells the other story of space, the one you were never told. Imagine a man, a technician. Kazakhstan, October 1960. He's been working since dawn on a launch pad. He's not chasing glory. He just wants to go home tonight. He won't. On October 24th, 1960, the R-16 rocket explodes on its launch pad during testing. Shockwave, fireball, hypergolic fuel spilling across the entire site. 120 people die within minutes. Among them, Marshal Mitrofan Nedelin, commander-in-chief of the Soviet missile forces. He had positioned himself 20 meters from the rocket, not by accident, to force his teams to move faster, to show he wasn't afraid. Anomalies had been reported. He refused to evacuate. The explosion vaporized him. Recovery teams searched for his remains for hours. They identified him through a single thing: his hero's star, melted in the debris. The Soviet government classified the entire disaster. For decades, those 120 people did not exist. No public record, no ceremony, no names. Their families received vague explanations. Some never learned how their father, brother, or son had disappeared. You've probably never heard of the Nedelin disaster. And that's exactly what this video is about. The conquest of space has 2 stories. The first one, you know, Armstrong, Gagarin, Aldrin, white suits, flags planted, global broadcasts. The second one, no one ever told you. It's the story of ghosts, welders, propellant specialists, quality control inspectors, engineers whose memos were ignored. They built the rockets. They filled the tanks. They tightened the bolts. And when something went wrong, they were the first to die. But here's what no one tells you. Every one of their deaths made the next mission safer. The day before the Challenger launch, January 27th, 1986, an engineer sends a memo. His name, Roger Boisjoly, engineer at Morton Thiokol, the booster manufacturer. The memo says this: the O-rings are not designed to function below 12 degrees Celsius. That night, it's -2 degrees Celsius at Cape Canaveral. He warns them. He begs them. He says, do not launch. NASA dismisses the recommendation. They ask Morton Thiokol to put on its management hat, not its engineering hat. Translation: give us the answer we want to hear. The next morning, 73 seconds after liftoff, Challenger disintegrates. Roger Boisjoly watches the rocket explode from the launch site. He knew. He had done everything to stop it. He testifies honestly before the investigation commission against his employer's instructions. Morton Thiokol sidelines him. His career is over. He was right. He lost everything for it. How many engineers like Boisjoly have existed since 1960? Who saw their warnings ignored, their careers sacrificed, their conscience haunted by a disaster they had predicted? These men and women are the invisible architects of every advance in space safety. Let's move to the other side of the Iron Curtain, Cape Canaveral. The United States has its own list of ghosts. Theodore Freeman, 1964, NASA astronaut. Killed when a goose struck his T-38 and caused both engines to fail. He wasn't training to die. He was training to fly. Charles Bassett and Elliot C., 1966, Gemini 9 crew. Killed in the fog while approaching a factory in St. Louis. They never got high enough to make the headlines. Robert Lawrence, 1967, the first African-American astronaut in history. His military program was classified, his death barely mentioned. These names appear on no televised memorial. They are not on the plaque David Scott placed on the moon in 1971. They are nowhere. Here's something you're never told. We talk about the dead, astronauts, disasters. But there's an even more invisible category, the living forgotten. You're an engineer, January 1967. You've been working on Apollo for 3 years. You've filed reports, sent memos. You told your supervisor that Apollo 1's wiring is a disaster waiting to happen, that the materials will burn like paper in pure oxygen, that the hatch takes 90 seconds to open. They tell you the schedule comes first. On January 27, 1967, Grissom, White, and Chaffee die in their capsule. You watch the flames from the ground. You know you warned them. Your name will appear in no book. No documentary will tell the story of your ignored memo. You're not the one who burned, so you're the one who survived history. Here is the official number. 791 people have gone to space. 19 have died doing it. Fatality rate, 2.4%. That's the number you're given. If you add training accidents, ground tests, and preparation flights, over 30 deaths. If you count technicians killed in launch explosions, named and unnamed, over 150. And if you include Soviet workers from classified disasters, those whose names appear in no public archive, whose families waited decades for partial truths, the number disappears into the darkness of history. We will never know. Now here's what no one tells you about the Artemis 2 capsule. Orion's hatch opens in seconds. It exists because Grissom, White, and Chaffee couldn't get out. The crew's suits would keep them alive in case of depressurization. They exist because 3 cosmonauts died of asphyxiation in Soyuz 11, killed by a valve the size of a coin. The booster joints on the SLS have expanded temperature tolerances because Roger Boisjoly was right. And the safety protocols on the Kennedy Space Center launch pad, every safety distance, every evacuation zone, every detector, trace directly back to the explosions at Baikonur, the ones you had never heard of before this video. Artemis 2 has been delayed several times, from late 2024 to September 2025, then February 2026, then April 2026. Every delay was criticized. Every delay cost money. And every delay proved that an organization had finally learned. Do not launch when you have doubts. That instinct was bought at the highest possible price. There's a place in Florida you can visit. Launch Complex 34. Decommissioned in 1969. Never demolished. Overgrown with weeds. Eaten away by salt air. A faded sign, abandoned in place. 3 granite benches at the base of the structure. 1 for Grissom, 1 for White, 1 for Chaffee. Every January, families come to lay flowers. There is no monument for the 120 men of Baikonur, no ceremony for the technicians of 1980, no granite bench for Roger Boisjoly, nothing. Right now, 4 astronauts are watching the moon grow larger through their window. They were sent there by all the people who never had that chance, by an anonymous technician whose name no one speaks, by an engineer who sent a memo on a Friday night and was sidelined on Monday morning. Humanity is learning to leave its planet. It is doing so slowly, painfully, on the backs of people whose names are never spoken. If this video moved you, share it. If you want to support the channel, a like or a subscription really helps. These stories deserve to exist. See you soon.